So Capcom have broken Resident Evil 4. They've removed Lenovo DRM and then put another DRM in place which tanks performance on lower powered CPU devices such as the Lenovo Legion Go 2 and of course the Xbox Ally X. So at the request of all of you in one of my recent videos saying, Andy, how does your Resident Evil 4 look so good? How is it playing so smooth? I thought I'd do this video to show you how to make Resident Evil 4 Remake play the best it can on these devices. Now this is going to be a little bit of a mixture between like good image quality and good performance. This isn't just like get the most FPS because you just set everything to low and then upscale it like from absolutely like 0 resolution. That's not the aim here. The aim here is for it to look as good as it can while still getting decent FPS. Oh, and also I've found something really strange between these two devices where the game just behaves differently, whether you're playing it on the Xbox Ally X or the Lenovo Legion Go 2. We'll cover that at the end. So we're going to do this on the Legion Go 2 just because the screen is so much bigger, it's going to be easier for you to see, but all of this does apply to the Xbox Ally X as well, so just do the same thing but on this. So the first thing we want to do is, if you're in Xbox full screen experience mode, which I normally run this game in, we want to back out into the desktop. This will obviously still work great even if you're not using full screen experience. We want to go over to Nexus mods and restore previous version. I will link this in the description. This is a free download and this is going to revert the exe and update file that effectively removed Lenovo and then put the new DRM into place. So this is actually what Digital Foundry tested and showed the huge discrepancies. So whilst they used this version, they got much better performance. So we're going this route and I'm going to show you how to install it. So you will need to sign up for a free account to log in and be able to download this, but effectively you just want to click download, just do the slow download because it's free. And then what you want to do once it's downloaded is right click on it or press and hold if you're using the touchscreen and hit extract all and then just extract all. Now you're going to end up with this folder just here. It's going to have Re4 in it, as well as this re-chunk pack. Now just leave that there for a minute. Now we need to find where you've installed Resident Evil 4. So I'm going to go to my C drive, I'm going to go to Program Files 86, I'm going to go to Steam, and then I'm going to go to Steam Apps and Common at the top. Scroll down until you find Resident Evil 4 just here. And then what you want to do is find the re-chunk pack patch 005.pack and the Re4, just select both of those and then cut them with the scissors and paste them somewhere else. Go into your documents or something like that and just take them away. You want to keep them just in case you have any issues, you can revert this, right, without having to re-download the whole game. So just move those two files away. I've already done this. Then what you want to do is highlight the two files in that download that we just did. Again, use the cut tool, so the scissors one, or Control+X. Go back to your Resident Evil 4 folder and then paste those files into this. This doesn't change your saves or anything like that, but you will need to be online once you launch the game because Steam will think you're launching it for the first time. That has now reverted the latest update, which has been tanking performance. Now you can just close all this out. But before we go into the game or anything like that, I want to go into AMD Adrenaline software. So it's just called AMD Software. So again, this works also on the Xbox Ally X just here. So just search AMD Software. Now I'd recommend going into the Performance tab and hitting Overlay and then Enable Metrics Overlay. Now what you can do is go up to the cog at the top just here and you can go to Preferences and In-Game Overlay. You want to check that. This is going to bring up the AMD overlay instead of either the Legion Go software one or the Xbox Armory Crate one. Now what you can do if you want to go a bit further is actually enable hotkeys and then bind that to one of the back paddles. So here you've got Toggle Performance Overlay, Control, Shift and O. So I've actually got that now bound to this back paddle just here, so that when I'm in the game, I can enable it or disable it. If you don't use this hotkey and you did what I just told you to do earlier, it will just automatically pop up. But I like to toggle it, right? We're still not done. We want to go to gaming. We want to find Resident Evil 4, wherever that is. And then we want to look at these settings. So what I recommend that you do is enable Radeon anti-lag. enable that. And then Radeon Image Sharpening, or RIS, enable that one, and then put it to about 80%, which I think is default. Now, what you can do, which I'll show you later on in the video after we've done all the settings and stuff, if you want extra performance with fake frames, right, we can use AFMF2. So you can either enable that there, or you can use the hotkeys method again by going to hotkeys and then finding it. So AFMF2 is Alt, Shift, and G, and you can remap that to one of your back paddles. I've got it remapped to this back one on the bottom. Now we're done there. I'm going to restart my device to go into Xbox full screen experience and then load up Steam. Now we've loaded up the game and we want to go over to display. If you're using a Legion Go 2, obviously you've got an HDR capable screen, right? So you can enable HDR. I have tried this on and off and it doesn't affect performance in my testing at least. So just go to HDR mode and enable that. Once that's done, go over to graphics, and this is going to be exactly the same on the Xbox Ally X. The only difference is I'm going to recommend a difference in resolution, right? So we'll start there because that's the first thing. So screen resolution on the Legion Go 2, I recommend 1600 by 1000p. Whereas on the Xbox Ally X, I recommend 1600 by 900p because that's the 16 by 9 equivalent. So they're effectively the same resolution. Obviously, the Legion Go 2's got a 16 by 10 screen, so it's going to be a little bit mismatched. And of course, the Xbox Ally X here should get a bit more performance because it's a lower resolution, technically. Oh, and the other thing is, of course, set your screen refresh rate on the Xbox Ally X to 120 Hertz. But on the Legion Go 2, you're going to want to select 144 Hertz because this has a faster screen. Now we want to go to frame rate variable. We want display mode full screen. We want VSync off. So turning VSync off is going to let the VRR panels, do their thing. You want full HD cinematics. You don't need the 4K ones because they're not 4K screens, and that's, you just don't want that. Turn off ray tracing. Now this is going to be down to taste. I prefer FSR2 because FSR2 focuses on image quality whilst giving you better performance. But if you want the best performance and a bit more hit on your image quality, then you can choose FSR1. And that's basically going to be focusing on frame rate rather than image quality. I personally want this to look better. So I've gone FSR2 performance on both devices. Now we've got the texture quality, and obviously this is dependent on your VRAM settings. On the Xbox Ally X, I have 10 gigabytes of VRAM set. On the Legion Go 2, I have 12 gigabytes of VRAM set, but we're still going to use the same setting here, and I've not had any, issue with that. So I'd recommend texture quality all the way up to high, 8 gigabytes. Now we've got texture filtering. We want high ×2. Mesh quality high, shadows low, shadow cache on, contact shadows on, ambient occlusion off. Then we want volumetric lighting mid, particle lighting effects quality low. Then we want bloom on, screen space reflections on, subsurface scattering off, hair strands off, graphic dismemberment off, persistent corpses few, corpse physics low, diverse enemy animations off, motion blur on. Now this is to taste, but I will tell you why I leave motion blur on once we get into the game. Going down then, we want rain quality low, terrain off, destructible environments off, lens flare on, and lens distortion on, plus chromatic aberration, depth of field on, resource intense lighting quality low, and resource intense effects quality low. Once you've done that, just back out and load up your game. Now, of course, if you want the absolute most FPS still, you can plug your device in and that will give your device maximum power. You can use the performance mode on the Legion Go 2 or even go to custom and whack it up. But I like playing my handhelds untethered, so I'm going with performance mode on the Legion Go 2, which is going to sit at 20 watts. And I also recommend putting your OS power mode into efficiency. Now, with the Xbox Ally X, we don't have that. So what I'm going to recommend you do is go into Armory Crate and create a custom 20 watt manual mode. It's really easy to do. Just open Armory Crate, go down to performance, and then go across to custom, and then put SPL to 20, 23, 28. Then you can press the burger free.e menu thing, go to rename, and just rename that 20 watts. And then when you go into the quick menu, you've got a 20 watt manual mode. That's how I pretty much play everything, is at 20 watts, because that's like the sweet spot between performance and battery life. But of course, the Legion Go 2's performance mode on battery does default to 20 watts, so we don't need to do this manual mode. Right, and now we are in the game, and you can see that it's super smooth. Textures are really good. Like, it's really, really high. But the good thing is, and the way it's looking so good, is of course these VRR panels that these have. So it doesn't matter how the FPS fluctuates, the screen is not going to tear, it's not going to stutter, it's not going to jitter. You're just going to get a super smooth final image, right? But if I show you what the actual performance is running at, like I said, I've enabled the AMD overlay with this button, and you can see that we're getting around the 40s, sometimes it spikes up to 50s, but notice that the power is only 14 watts and the GPU utilization is only 66%. It caps out at 70%. It's really, really weird. But at 40 to 50 FPS, the game runs super smooth because of the VRR screen, which on the Legion Go 2 starts at 30 Hertz all the way up to 144 Hertz, whereas on the Xbox Ally X, it doesn't start until sort of 45 Hertz, something like that, 47, somewhere like that, up to the 120. So we're getting a bit of a benefit on the Legion Go 2's screen just here. So anything over 30 frames per second is going to feel super smooth anyway, but because I've added that motion blur on there, it's going to feel even smoother. Now, like I said, you can add frame gen with AFMF2 or even lossless scaling if you want to, but I've already bound frame gen to this one from AFMF2, so I'm going to press it. It's going to say AFMF2 is now active. And now you can see we're up to like 100 FPS, and the GPU utilization has actually shot right up to 75%, or 77% even. So we're getting even more utilization here, and we're getting more frames, like more than double, really. You can see that the clock speed has jumped right up as well, and it's going to be super smooth now because it's still going to play at like 40 to 50 FPS, but visually you're going to see between sort of like 70 and 100 FPS. That's what it's going to look like. The only downside is obviously this is frame gen effectively, so this is to taste. You probably won't like it. I don't really like the fact that you can see the crosshair kind of like double up. So there's the crosshair. Just watch that crosshair. Do you see how it like doubles up? It's kind of annoying, especially when you're trying to aim like fast. But that's just an artifact of using frame gen. But with the Legion Go 2 at least, enabling AFMF2 does let the clock speed of the GPU and the utilization jump right up. So we're actually getting better performance, of course, with frame gen. Whereas if I turn frame gen off, so disabled, I've just pressed my shortcut key, my hotkey, right? GPU power's dropped down to 15 watts again. GPU utilization is now 67%, and the clock speed has jumped down from like 2,000 to under 1,000. So this is the weird anomaly that I don't understand what is happening with the Legion Go 2. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Let's just jump over to the Xbox Ally X. Exactly the same settings, right? We're getting way more GPU utilization. We're actually sat at 97%. We're well within the 60s to 70 FPS just there. And this is without frame gen. This is just exactly the same settings as the Legion Go 2, but the clock speed is right up, as well as the GPU utilization, and you can see the GPU power is sat at 19 watts to 20 watts, whereas the Legion Go 2 for some reason keeps jumping down to 15, even though performance mode should be 20 watts. And just to show you, I've not even been in performance mode. I've been on custom mode, exactly the same settings as what I set the Xbox Ally X to. So you're getting around the sort of 45 FPS on the Legion Go 2 because of this weird discrepancy, whereas you're getting up to 70 on the Xbox Ally X. It doesn't make any sense to me. So you are going to get better performance in this game on the Xbox Ally X than you are on the Legion Go 2. Resolution aside, because yes, this is running slightly lower resolution, but it's nigh on the same. 900p versus 1000p, everything else the same. This has got 10 gig of VRAM, that's got 12 gig of VRAM enabled. And I've even tested this on other games. So when I found this ended up being a bit of a deep dive for me because I was like, only meant to be doing a settings video. And when I previously tried this, before this de novo rubbish, they were matched whereas now they are unmatched, and I don't know what's going on here. I'm assuming it's a driver issue. I'm assuming the driver for the Xbox Ally X is newer and it's doing something differently. But I even loaded up Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk lets my GPU utilization on the Legion Go 2 ramp right up to nearly 99%, which is what we want. We want the GPU to be the bottleneck, not the CPU, right? And I get the exact same frame rate on the Legion Go 2 as I do on the Xbox Ally X at the exact same settings, but 900p versus 1000p. It just doesn't make any sense that Resi 4 here, for some reason, just doesn't play ball. So the best way of playing it on the Legion Go 2 is with some form of frame gen applied, whether that's AFMF2 or lossless scaling, or you could just turn it off and be happy with the sort of 40-ish FPS. As soon as you turn the frame rate monitor off, you won't even notice it because that 30 Hz to 144 Hz VRR window is so smooth. This is how I've been playing this game on every video where people have been commenting going, Andy, how is it so smooth? How does it look so good on yours? These are the settings I use exclusively, despite the fact that there is a discrepancy. Like I said, if we turned off the frame rate monitors here, then they play pretty much exactly the same, but you are going to have a better experience on the Xbox Ally X. And I don't know why. So if you do know why, and know why that the Legion Go 2 isn't utilizing the full power there of the GPU, it's bottlenecking at 70% GPU utilization, please let me know. I've tried so many things to figure out what this is. Every other game is matched performance-wise. It's only Resi 4 that for some reason this is being weird for me. But anyway, that's my settings, that's my recommendations. You're going to have a great experience regardless of which device you're playing it on. And this applies to other devices as well. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments whilst you're down there. Like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you get to chat to us over on our private Discord. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.